But there's been an American nightmare that has accompanied that, and that's where people that equally have tried to get educated and worked hard and had good habits have found themselves living a life that's been on the edge throughout their entire lives, and the same for their children.
Warren Buffett once pointed out that many aren't living the American dream at all, but something closer to an American nightmare. Let me put this in perspective. Around 58% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That means if you walk into a grocery store, more than half of the people shopping there are barely scraping by and constantly worried about whether their pay will stretch far enough. And this isn't a local problem. It stretches across the entire country. Here's the shocking part. Being broke isn't about how much money you make. There are people earning modest wages who manage to build six-figure portfolios while raising families. On the other hand, there are individuals pulling in over $100,000 annually, yet still living paycheck to paycheck. At the end of the day, it's a matter of choices. Warren Buffett himself became wealthy starting with almost nothing, and he famously said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." If you want to break free from debt, create the lifestyle you want, and even support those around you, you need to understand the patterns that keep people stuck. After digging deep into Buffett's approach to wealth, I uncovered 5 powerful traps that keep people poor, and today, I'll walk you through them. Number 1. The zero balance mentality. Picture this. You check your bank account and see $50. Most people automatically assume that means they have $50 to spend. But that mindset is what Buffett would call financial quicksand. Just because money is in your account doesn't mean it's available for spending. Zero balance thinking is dangerous. It's the fastest way to stay broke no matter how much you earn. Buffett himself lives on a relatively modest lifestyle of around $100,000 per year, even though he's among the richest people alive. By contrast, someone making $40,000 who spends $40,000, or someone making $100,000 who spends $100,000 is essentially broke. The key is setting aside part of your income for savings and investments before you touch it. That way, your money grows and protects you against emergencies. Buffett has practiced this discipline since he bought his very first stock 77 years ago, paying $114.75 for just 3 shares. Let me give you a real-world example. A coworker of mine once received a $250 stimulus check when our company had a good year. Instead of saving or investing it, they went out and bought a single pair of pants with the entire check. That's zero balance thinking in action, using all you have just because it's there. How do you break free from it? Follow what's called the rule of 5. If you can't afford to buy 5 of the item in cash, you can't afford it at all. So if you have $50, you should only be buying things worth about $10. Buffett also says, "I don't try to jump over 7-foot hurdles. I look for 1-foot hurdles I can easily step over." Don't make wealth harder than it needs to be. Avoid zero balance spending. Number 2. The payment trap. Here's where things get sneaky. A lot of people look wealthy but aren't. They've got expensive cars, high-end furniture, and luxury gadgets. But when you peel back the curtain, it's all smoke and mirrors. Buffett summed it up perfectly. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. Take the example of someone driving a new Mercedes. On the surface, it looks impressive, but often they're just paying $350 a month in installments, not the $41,000 upfront price tag. They couldn't afford it outright, which means they couldn't really afford it. The illusion comes from payment plans and zero-interest deals. Almost everything today can be bought on monthly installments. That $300 kayak suddenly looks affordable at $30 a month. But once you add the car payment, the furniture payment, credit card debt, and other obligations, you're chained to endless bills. Many even end up in bankruptcy simply because they can't keep up. Buffett has warned about this trap repeatedly. Avoid using debt as a crutch for lifestyle. Number 3, the power of compounding. Once you avoid the zero balance mentality and payment traps, you can unlock the real wealth builder, compounding. This is the magical force that makes your money multiply over time. Buffett built his fortune by creating what he calls compounding machines, businesses and investments that continuously reinvest and grow. The concept is simple.
Assets put money into your pocket, while liabilities take money out. Assets can be dividend-paying stocks or rental properties. Liabilities are things like new cars, flashy clothes, or the latest phone. Many people stay broke because they spend all their money on liabilities. I once knew someone at a crossroads. He could either buy a flashy car or invest in something meaningful. He chose real estate, buying a small apartment building. After renting it out, he was making $300 in profit every month. That's the power of an asset. It keeps giving. And here's the good news. You don't need massive sums to start. With as little as $5, you can begin investing in dividend stocks. What matters is consistency. Remember, parking money in a savings account won't make you wealthy. The interest rates are too low. Instead, let your money work for you. A simple rule for this is the 5-to-1 principle. For every $5 you spend on liabilities, put $1 into assets. If you spend $80 at Costco, invest $16 into Costco stock. That's how you flip consumption into compounding. Number 4, the trap of a flashy lifestyle. Social media has made this worse. Everywhere you look, people flaunt designer clothes, luxury vacations, and expensive cars. But behind the photos, many are buried in debt. Some even go thousands of dollars deep just to impress strangers on Instagram. Warren Buffett proves you don't need to play that game. He still lives in the house he bought decades ago, eats simply, and wears unbranded suits. No frills, no flashy lifestyle. And yet, he's among the wealthiest in history. The lesson? Focus on what actually improves your life, not what makes others think you're rich. And finally, number 5, staying a step ahead. Here's the final piece, preparation. It's easy to blame companies for marketing and tempting us with products, but at the end of the day, you control whether you buy or not. Most people give in to impulse, but when you train yourself to pause and filter your purchases, you'll feel richer almost instantly. That extra money can then go into investments, which fuels your compounding machine. Over time, as you see your wealth grow, you'll naturally start looking for ways to accelerate it, whether by putting in extra hours at work, aiming for a promotion, freelancing, or starting a side hustle. That's when you begin transitioning from being just a consumer to becoming a producer. Buffett puts it beautifully. Predicting rain doesn't count. Building arcs does. In other words, stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Start preparing now. The earlier you start building your financial arc, the sooner you'll escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap and step into real financial freedom.